Hello, everyone! For years, fans of automotive restoration and classic car culture have held wheeler dealers close to their hearts. And at the centre of that passion was none other than Ed China, the tall, eccentric, brilliant mechanic whose unmatched skill and calm demeanour made the show both educational and entertaining. However, when Ed left the programme back in 2017, the automotive world was rocked, confused, and left with a massive unanswered question. Why would the man who essentially built the soul of the show walk away from the very project that made him a global name? Now, years later, Ed China has finally broken his silence in full detail, and what he reveals about the inner workings of wheeler dealers, the production decisions, and the battle between creative vision and corporate control has left fans stunned and disappointed, to say the least. It turns out, behind the polished episodes and friendly banter with co-host Mike Brewer, there was a growing tension brewing behind the garage doors, a philosophical divide between what the show used to stand for and what the network wanted it to become. Ed explains that the show's early days were driven by genuine passion, the desire to rescue old cars, bring them back to life with real mechanical work, and teach viewers about the process, step by step, without cutting corners. But as the show became more successful and moved to velocity in the US, the production began pushing for shorter, simplified garage segments in favour of flashier, fast-paced content that prioritised entertainment over education. Ed, being the perfectionist and educator he is, refused to compromise the integrity of the mechanical walkthroughs. He wanted to show the real work, the real challenges, and the real value of doing things properly, not just the dramatic before and after shots. The producers, on the other hand, were increasingly focused on squeezing more cars into each season, cutting down the time Ed had on screen, and simplifying explanations to cater to a wider, less technical audience. This creative clash reached a breaking point when Ed was asked to drastically reduce the depth of his mechanical sequences, something he believed would mislead viewers and betray the trust that had built the fanbase in the first place. Instead of silently accepting those changes and cashing the paycheck, Ed made the difficult but principled decision to walk away. He didn't want to be a puppet for shallow content. He didn't want to become part of a show that no longer reflected the values he cherished. And he certainly didn't want to disappoint the fans who looked up to him as a real-life car guru. His decision, though brave, wasn't without consequence. Almost immediately, rumours began swirling. Media headlines tried to stir drama between him and Mike Brewer, with speculation of feuds and falling outs. But Ed has since cleared that up, saying that while they had differences, his issue was never personal, but professional. He had no ill will toward Mike or the production crew. He just couldn't continue being part of something that had lost its way. Since leaving Wheeler Dealers, Ed has pursued independent projects that reflect his authentic vision, such as his YouTube series, Ed China's Garage Revival, and his book Grease Junkie, where he dives deeper into his philosophy, work ethic, and the emotional toll of leaving the show. In a heartfelt moment, Ed described how hard it was to say goodbye to the fans, many of whom had grown up watching him tinker away with wrenches, teaching them more than just mechanics, teaching them patience, problem-solving, and pride in craftsmanship. His honesty about the production battles, his dismay over losing creative control, and his refusal to dumb down content for profit have resonated with loyal viewers who now better understand what happened behind the scenes. Ed's revelations remind us that even in the glamorous world of television, creators often face immense pressure to conform, simplify, and commercialize. But it's those rare individuals, like Ed China, who stand firm in their values, that truly earn respect. His departure may have marked the end of an era, but his transparency has opened a new chapter. One where the audience gets to follow Ed on his terms, with no filters, no shortcuts, and no corporate scripts. As more people discover the real reason behind his exit, many are beginning to re-evaluate how much creative sacrifice is made in mainstream media, and how rare it is to find someone who walks away from success to protect something out. It's clear. Ed China wasn't just a mechanic on a car show, he was the moral engine of wheeler dealers. And when that engine was being tampered with, he had the courage to turn the keys and drive off in a direction that stayed true to his identity. That kind of integrity doesn't come around often, and it's why his legacy continues to inspire not just car lovers, but anyone who's ever been told to compromise their passion for popularity. With every revelation, Ed China has not only reclaimed his voice, but reignited the loyalty of millions, who now see that his silence all these years wasn't weakness, it was restraint. But now the wrench has turned and the truth is out, and it's leaving the world of automotive television in absolute shock. Thanks for watching.